As crowds grow in Broadview, Illinois, the sanctuary state's Governor J.B. Pritzker laying the groundwork to prosecute ICE agents in the near future. Now, the Deputy AG, Todd Blanche, slamming that idea a bit earlier today on Fox and Friends.
And that governor, instead of talking on the news and making up stories about what he thinks is happening, go out for one night and see the work that these men and women are doing. And he'll learn and he'll understand that what they are doing is getting the scourge and the people that are here illegally out of this country.
Senior correspondent Mike Tobin is live in Broadview. What should we expect today, Mike?
Well, the protesters got up with the sun on a frosty Friday morning. They're gathered to the tune of about 100 here in Broadview. And Broadview, as you know, has been a flashpoint for the demonstrations that often melt down into riots. And you see the demonstrators gathering by the thousands sometimes in the city of Chicago. And I spent part of this week speaking with the Angel families. These are the people who are the survivors who lost loved ones due to someone being in the country illegally. And they say these protesters don't get the big picture.
View is the people who are in opposition to immigration enforcement, they don't see the reality. And the reality is here. This is the reality. People die because of illegal immigration policies.
If it was one of their children or one of their parents or one of their loved ones that was killed, I firmly believe they'd have a different opinion.
The way Katie died is not how, that wouldn't have sat well with her. She would not have been okay with that. As compassionate and loving as she was also fair.
Now, the last person you heard from was Joe Abraham. Operation Midway Blitz was named in honor of his daughter, Katie Abraham, killed earlier this year by a Guatemalan man in this country illegally and driving drunk. Meantime, more controversy surrounding ICE and Border Patrol operations, and now questions about whether Border Patrol violated a court order. We've got a picture of Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino lobbing a tear gas canister in Chicago's Little Village neighborhood. U.S. District Court Judge Sarah Ellis ordered federal agents to give 2 separate warnings before crowd control munitions are used. Witnesses claim orders were not given before Bovino threw that tear gas canister. A DHS source tells me that multiple warnings were given before those munitions were deployed. Guys, back to you.
All right, Mike, thank you for being there for us.
Thank you, Mike. Shannon Bream joins us, anchor Fox News Sunday. Morning to you, Shannon. When we see you, it's Friday. J.B. Pritzker came to battle last night, and Brett was there to receive it and return serve. Here's part of how that went from the Illinois governor.
You're demonizing ICE agents. If some ICE agent gets killed, and we just saw an assassination attempt down in Dallas, isn't that not something that we should be really talking about like that?
The thing that we're demonizing is when ICE agents aren't following protocols. They aren't acting like law enforcement should act. They're instead literally racially profiling. We've seen it.
You don't
before.
think you're painting with a broad brush of all the ICE agents that are doing their job?
No, we're saying that if you're an ICE agent and you do these things, we think you ought to be held accountable.
So he mentioned the word racist several times in that back and forth, and talked about ICE only going after black and brown people in his community, and said there's no accountability. Nobody's been fired just yet. So he brought that message to Washington. How did you hear it, Shannon?
Yeah, we heard that. And you're also hearing California Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi talking about ICE agents potentially being arrested by local authorities or state authorities. And so what is the message of that? The message from both of those lawmakers is that ICE agents are the bad guys. So when you send that message, it is telling people that if you show up and protest and things cross a line potentially, that you're in the right. You're doing something to stop bad things happening in your community, whereas we're asking ICE agents to do a really, really difficult job to go into situations they know are going to be potentially life-threatening for them. And they not only have to do their jobs, but they now have to contend with these protesters at the same time, which is why President Trump will then say, well, in some of these situations, that may be necessary to send in the National Guard. Pritzker says, you're launching this whole thing by saying, we're going to send in ICE. We get the protests. You use that as justification for the National Guard. And now we wait from the Supreme Court at any moment to tell us whether the Guard can be used in places like Chicago.
Shannon, I'm going to run through 3 call fors, but they all go together, and then get your take on it. So this happened in California. We've been showing this. It's in Alameda, and it was a U-Haul that backed up, like using a vehicle as a weapon again. Watch. And the Justice Department warned California officials to stand down or face prosecution after threats to arrest ICE agents. Pelosi And Mullen said this: while the president may enjoy absolute immunity courtesy of his rogue Supreme Court, those who operate under his orders do not. Our state and local authorities may arrest federal agents if they break California law, and if they are convicted, the president cannot pardon them. Todd Blanche returned with this: California politicians want to arrest federal agents for enforcing federal law. We just sent them a letter. Stand down or face prosecution. No one threatens our agents. No one will stop us from making America safe again. So now we are back in court. How will it go?
There's so much to unpack there with this whole talking about rogue Supreme Court. I'm assuming that's a reference to the presidential immunity, which again does not insulate any president from just criminal behavior and all kinds of crazy things. You guys know, our viewers know, it's about official conduct. It is very limited, and it's for any president, not just for President Trump. So a lot there. But, as we wait on the Supreme Court to see whether they think the National Guard should, at least on a temporary basis, be allowed to operate in places like Chicago where there is this flare-up, you have that situation with that Coast Guard base. And what are they to do when they've given numerous warnings and there is a truck which, who knows, it could have been completely innocent and confusing. It could have been filled with explosives. We're asking our law enforcement agents to make really difficult second-by-second decisions. And if you've had warnings and you're trying to back onto the only entrance and exit to a military base, you got to know things like that are going to happen.
Shannon, quickly, on Sunday, you got Rand Paul. He's a Republican, not voting for this shutdown, right, to end. And you got Tim Kaine, a Democrat. What are you going for?
Yeah, we'll see where they do agree on things for the shutdown and foreign policy, and some places where they have some big disagreements, too. Can we broker an end to the shutdown? I don't know, but we're going to try.
That's right. That'll be day 26 by then.
It's like they want to break the record and make it the longest. So
Let's hope
it might
not.
get there. Thank you,
All right,
Shannon.
see you guys Sunday.
Thanks, Shannon.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.